not often I buy a new bike, and it's not often I buy one without even riding it first. But this bike's been in the UK for about a week, and like many others, when I first saw the pictures and read the reviews, I thought, wow. Now, my name is Jeremy Broon, and I'm a woodworker with a passion for motorbikes since I was 16. Before I give you my first impressions of this bike, let me just say that everything they say about this bike being a hard ride is untrue. I rode my first bike in the severe winter of 1962 from Wiltshire to Scotland. It took 3 days and I literally froze on the bike. I also have a Bonneville Cafe Racer, and if you take the revs up above 4,000, the instruments start dropping off. So this little beauty is sheer comfort to me in contrast to the many bikes I've owned. Okay, my most recent bikes have been a 600 Honda Hornet and a CBR 250R, and in a nutshell I suspect this bike, performance-wise, is nearer the Hornet than the CBR 250R. Of course, right now I'm running the bike in, so I haven't even tested the power band, but I've got a good feel of what this bike promises. Now, apart from riding it back from the dealer yesterday, this is the first little trip I've done, and so this is very much first impressions. So let's first take it for a little ride before I go through the specs. It's light and nimble, and although my riding position is leaning a little more forward than the CBR 250R, it's fine, and for my 5'10" height, it's a comfortable riding position. I mean, I wouldn't ride a bike like this for more than 50 miles before getting off and stretching my legs. The digital dashboard is clear, even though the rev counter band is less dominant, but everything I need seems to be set out well. Now, through my helmet, the bike reminds me of the throb and tone of a Matchless single I used to own in my youth. Oh yes, and who said this bike is just for 20-year-olds? You know, when I busk this tune on the streets of my home city, every guy over 60 years old turns his head. However, back at the Hank Marvin Ranch, let's now look closer at what turned my head with this bike. Well, at first glance it has a touch of Italian and Japanese in its form. I once owned a Sachs 125, which was a very uncomfortable replica of a Ducati. Actually, the KTM RC390 shares the same frame as a 125cc and 200cc version. And one of the things that immediately appealed to me is the big rear tyre. Of course, I'd been riding carefully on the new tyres that tend to be a little greasy. The build quality looks really impressive to me. I've never ridden a KTM before, and I had heard that some of the off-road bikes can be unreliable. But I suspect that this Indian manufacturer with an almost 50% share in the Austrian company is hungry to improve quality. The engine is pretty well the same as the well-established KTM Duke 390. As a craftsman myself, and some say I'm a world-class woodworker, I have an eye for detail, and I'm really impressed. The fact is, manufacturing has shifted to countries like Thailand and India, and people like me are in a real minority making things in the UK. But innovation is what turns me on, and this bike is every bit as exciting as some of my furniture designs and sports distinctive livery colours. Okay, modesty apart. Looking at the seat, this is really novel, as the rear section is actually a pillion and made of a moulded rubberized plastic. The fairing is minimal and typically angular, defining the KTM brand. The twin headlights are small, mean and purposeful. And yes, the wing mirror view is blocked by your forearms, so I'm going to have to live with that or find a way around that. Lift my arms up or something. The clutch lever action is firm and positive, and the brakes seem fine, but as I haven't taken this bike up to any reasonable speeds, I presume it has all the right equipment. It certainly looks as though it does. The same with the forks and the suspension. They're well proven. You know, I've been waiting for decades for a Road Race 400 to appear, and that explains why I snapped this up so quickly. The last 400 I had, I bought new in 1986, a fabulous inline 4 Suzuki GSX-R 400. Now that used to stall a bit when hot in stationary traffic. And I did notice on the KTM that the fan cuts in rather quickly. So this is a hot running engine. A nice touch I noticed as it got dark is the lit up icons for the horn, headlight, etc. And the display is very attractive in the dark. Well, I hope to give this amazing bike another review when I've run it in and I've been able to test the power band. I'm really looking forward to that. The economy promises to be very impressive. And all round, I feel very lucky and honoured to be able to give this bike one of the first, if not the first, taster review in the UK. Thanks for watching.